With the Club World Cup starting next weekend, just kind of wondering if you guys think the MLS teams have any realistic chances of getting out of their groups, making a deep run, I mean, even winning a game. I think that, they want Inter Miami to do well because it's a really good advertisement for MLS. I don't know if they have the most realistic chances. I think Seattle is definitely not getting out of their group. I mean, they just took a big loss to Vancouver over the weekend, and Vancouver just got whooped by Cruz Azul in the CONCACAF Champions League final. So for Seattle to show up and deliver any kind of big results against PSG, Atletico Madrid, doesn't seem realistic. I will be rooting for them, though. It should be fun. If possible, I'll try to catch a game at the Rose Bowl. But I think LAFC actually has the most interesting group. They weren't, and for you guys that don't know, they weren't even originally supposed to be a part of the tournament. They had to do a play-in game against Club America, which I think for all intents and purposes, it was really meant to be a way to get Club America into the tournament without just flat out giving them the spot taken from Club Leon. If you don't know what happened with Club Leon, they were supposed to be in the tournament. They even made a bunch of signings. I think Andres Guardado was signed to them and James Rodriguez, and they were brought in this year just because they were going to be in the Club World Cup. And then because of some controversy with the owners owning two of the Mexican teams, FIFA decided that they couldn't participate, so they created this one-off play-in game between LAFC, Club America. It was kind of weird that they played it at BMO Stadium here in LA, but obviously I wasn't against it as a LAFC fan, and the game really didn't disappoint. And to be honest, before this game between LAFC and Club America, I wasn't really interested in this tournament that much. It seemed like just like glorified friendlies. If you've lived in the States for the past 10, 20 years, you know that every summer they bring all the European teams and they play each other in these one-off games at football stadiums. They sell out. If it ends in a tie, they go to PKs. People come out because they want to get a chance to see these teams, because even if you're a soccer fan in America, it doesn't necessarily mean you're an MLS fan. I'm an MLS fan, but having grown up with soccer in America, I don't know any of my buddies that watch the MLS or follow it. I'm like kind of the only person. So when these teams come into the summer, it's a way for you to kind of see these teams, even if they don't put out a full strength squad, even if they sub them out at halftime, the big stars, or bring them in the second half. It's still kind of a fun way to see these clubs in person. But this is like, there's, I think, $130 million purse. So these are beyond friendlies, right? Like someone's going to try to win this. And even if they're not giving it their all and they're trying out some youngsters, I think when it comes right down to it, whatever teams get out of their groups, they're going to try to win this thing. Maybe they're not too into it at first, but I think they'll get caught up in it, and we'll see. Obviously, I think that the European teams or maybe a Brazilian team has a chance to win, best chance to win the whole thing. I think the tournament used to just be 4 teams, like the Champions League, the Copa Libertadores winners, the Asian, and maybe a CONCACAF team, and it would just be like semifinals, finals, and Brazilian teams traditionally take it really serious and they do pretty well. But I'm curious to know what you guys think about these MLS teams. So Seattle is going to be playing PSG, Atletico Madrid, and someone else. Let's see if we can look it up. I just pulled up the groups, and as much as the MLS wants Inter Miami to do well, they're going to be facing FC Porto, which they're not pushovers. Palmeiras from Brazil. I even think Al Ahly, I think is how you say that. I think they're the African champions, and maybe for people that don't recognize some of these teams like Palmeiras and Al Ahly, they think that Miami has this like chance to get out of the group. I hope so. I watched Miami. I saw them when they came into town the first time to play LAFC. It was amazing to see Messi, Busquets, Jordi Alba, Suarez. Like they still have that quality. They're just old. And probably Jordi Alba and Messi are, you can't really see that they're that old. I think Busquets has lost a step, and Suarez, he's one of my favorite strikers of all time. The fact that he still scores goals, I think, is amazing. But I think that if you're talking about full strength squads from Palmeiras and Porto and Alala, I think that it might be tough. So let's look at Seattle Sounders. They would have to get by PSG, Atletico Madrid, and Botafogo from Brazil, which I already said Brazilian teams take this like super serious. So I'm predicting 3 losses from Seattle Sounders, and they're gone. I'm going to support them though, and I'm going to be wishing that they have like this underdog, kind of run. But let's be realistic. Let's see. The other groups are pretty interesting, but let's stick to the MLS groups. So LAFC, this is what I'm talking about. They have to play Chelsea, Flamengo from Brazil, who's going to be tough, and then Esperance Sportive de Tunis. I don't know this team, but just on paper and the fact that maybe we don't know who they are, we couldn't name any players on them. I think LAFC could pull out a victory from this Tunisian team. I think that they can tie Flamenco, and they can maybe take a L to Chelsea. If that's enough to get them through, I actually think that LAFC has the best chance of moving on. I'm trying to check real quick where the Mexican teams are playing. Yeah, even if they play a B squad, I don't know if Pachuca's good. I mean, I'm getting more into I'm becoming more aware of Mexican teams and the Liga MX just because of the Leagues Cup that they do between MLS and Liga MX, the CONCACAF Champions Cup and stuff like that, and just kind of trying to watch a little more of ESPN Deportes where they talk about the Mexican League, because ever since the Leagues Cup, it's kind of, and the MLS All-Star Games, some people think these are like, not very exciting tournaments or competitions, but the one thing it does is it makes me aware of like some of the players on these teams. Like I can recognize their jerseys, and so when they're in this tournament now, I'm a little more interested just because I've heard of them. So I think that overall that's a good thing. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think. One of the reasons why I think that LAFC has a really great chance to get out of the group and make noise in this tournament is, people have thought that Giroud has been underperforming since he's come to LAFC. I just think that he hasn't been used the right way, or they haven't figured out a way to best, get the most out of his style. And I think in the game against Club America, and I saw them win the US Open Cup as well last year, Giroud, he will come off the bench and you'll be like, oh, he didn't really do much. He won some headers and he made some runs. They didn't play on the ball. But one thing that he does that I think is so undervalued, until it leads to a goal or a win, is he plays at a different level when it's a big game. So in the US Open Cup final, he scores a goal and they win. At this play-in game of Club America versus LAFC, he comes in and he's crucial in how the whole game changed, and he gets the assist on the game-winning goal. So I think big players play it. Their level goes up in big games. This is a man that's won the World Cup. He's played all over Europe. I think he's the leading goal scorer from France all time. Probably Mbappe will pass him, but for now he still is. Hugo Lloris is still solid in goal, and Denny Bouanga. For people that don't know Denny Bouanga, this guy, if he was from any other country but Gabon, he would be starting on big national teams. And the fact that he's committed to LAFC is such a blessing for an Angelino like myself and MLS fans, because he could definitely play in one of the top 5 leagues in Europe. So it's only a matter of time before they either lure him away, or if he just decides, hey, look, this is where I play, and if I can compete in Club World Cups every couple of years, then I'll be happy to stay. I hope he doesn't leave, but I would understand if he does. So be on the lookout for LAFC, Denny Bouanga, Olivier Giroud. There's a really, really talented young guy from, I think, Venezuela, David Martinez. He's a baller. If he can get healthy, I think we have this guy, Unda, from Turkey, who's also has a great left foot. There's just a lot of quality all over the pitch. And one thing that LAFC has done better than other teams, like in the MLS, I can't tell you how many times I've seen like Chicago Fire will get like Bastian Schweinsteiger and no one around him, and he's miserable for a year, and they lose every game, and then they don't even announce when he leaves. He's just gone. And then they'll bring in Sheridan Shaqiri. These guys are like amazing soccer players. They bring them in, they don't put any people around them, they have a miserable year, and then they leave MLS. Because it's not 1998 anymore, where you just bring like a famous person to sell jerseys and they score some goals and everyone's happy. Like the no-name players in MLS that you have never heard of, they're good now. Like they're fast, they're physical, the pace of the game is really high. Admittedly, the quality is not always as high as in the European game, like the touch and the IQ, but the speed and the strength is up there. So if you're just a one star on a team, you're gonna have a horrible time. LAFC has a team, so every position on the field is a guy who buys into the system and knows their role and doesn't try to do too much. So let's keep an eye out for them. Club World Cup. Let me know what you guys think, and we'll see how the MLS teams do. Thanks for watching.